Before we start working on our hinge and our flexi animal, I'd like to first demonstrate the technique so we know what we're shooting for. I'll start by dragging out a box and I'll make it 40 by 20 by 5.5. And the reason I'm making it 5.5 is because that's going to be the size of my hinge. Now you can make a hinge any size you want, but the demonstration hinge that I'm going to make will be 5.5 millimeters tall. So I'm going to go now into my creations, and I've already created a hinge and a hinge cutout and a section cutout. That's what we'll be doing next. We'll be creating these pieces in the next video. I'm going to drag the section cutout. I'll just put it roughly in the middle, select both. I want it to go all the way across. My section cutout is 20 millimeters long and 1 millimeter wide. You can make it as long as you want, but the width should be 1 millimeter. I'll select both of those and join. Zoom back out. Drag both of these closer. Zoom back in. Now I'm going to move the hinge cutout over to the section cutout. Tap focus to zoom in. I'm going to look at it from the top in orthographic view. And what I want to do is move the cutout such that its left-hand edge aligns with the left side of the cutout, the section cutout. Once I have that in place, I'll select both and group. Now for the hinge itself, its current orientation is on its side, so I'm going to flip it over 90 degrees, look at it from the top, and I'm going to place it in the cutout area. I'll use focus to zoom in, and I'll use the arrow keys to move over. If you need to move in smaller increments, you can change the snap grid to 0.1 or even turn it off if you want. I'll put 0.1 for now. And what I'm doing is I'm looking to align the left edge of the pin with the right edge of the section cutout area. So to nudge it into place, I'm going to turn off the snap grid and just use the arrow keys to align it. And I also want to align the hinge in the middle of this cutout area. So I'm going to move it down about like that. If you click on your main object, the red object, and tap the T key, that will make it translucent. And you can see that the pin is overlapping on the top and the bottom edge here. And that's what we want to happen. So the pin will actually be connected to the right side of this object, and the other part of the hinge will be actually connected to the left side of the object. So I'll turn it back to solid, look at it from the side. I notice there's a gap here, and that's because when I rotated the hinge, it's not dropped to the work plane. So I'm going to tap on the hinge and tap the D key to drop it down. So it's now flush with the top of the object. The last step is to select everything and group. Now I have two colors on here, but I can undo multicolor so that we're seeing everything as one shape. And if you zoom in and rotate around, you'll see that the pin is not connected to the outer part of the hinge, but it is connected to the right side of this object, and this should move just fine. From this point, we would export our model as an STL file, slice it, and print it.